Hello again, welcome back to Graphic Design for Beginners. Today we're going to be playing with some text options. So if you are interested in making any type of cool text, how to customize your fonts, how to make some cool layered images like this here, that's what we're going to be working on today. So let's get into it. So we're going to be playing around with, like I said, fonts and text today, and how you can really step up your game when it comes to creating custom things and custom text art like this. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a new file here. It's going to be just like this one here. I'm going to make it a nice square. So something like that there. Change this to RGB, and let's go from there. Okay, first things first, I'm going to go ahead and set my background. So with the color that I'm going to be using, I'm going to go ahead and get a square, come over to my libraries, and I want to use this nice dark blue color here. So I'm going to go ahead and just make this square the whole size here. There we go. And then I'm going to lock that. So I'm going to come up to Object, Lock, and Selection here, so that way it's not going to move around and it's not going to get in my way whenever I'm trying to work with my text here. So next thing that we're going to be doing, we're going to be using some text here. Let me go ahead and click on a text box. I'm going to shoot over to Properties here. And let's find a nice, I guess we can keep it at a standard. I'm just going to work with Myriad Pro here, or maybe Avenir. Yeah, we might do that because I'd like something nice and bold. Elevate. Go. So I'm going to select all of that. We're going to make it much bigger. A little bit too big, about that big there. And I'm going to go through and change the color of the font as well. So the color palette that I'm mostly going to be working with here, I have this saved to my Adobe library. It's called Mirror of Sky. If you go to Adobe Color, you can actually type that in, find the same color palette, and then work alongside with me using the same colors. Or you can get creative, use whatever colors you want, because at the end of the day, this is a creative pursuit, so you can do what you want. So I'm going to use the lightest color here, and that color palette, it's basically white. Let's be real, it's pretty much white. And then next thing I'm going to do, so now as you can tell, my text is still editable. I can go through and change things about this, but if you really want to customize the way that this looks, one way of doing that is by creating outlines. So if I click Type, scroll down to where it says Create Outlines right there, that is going to take my text and it's going to turn it into more like a shape instead of an editable text. And you might be thinking, well, now I can't edit it. What good is that going to do me? Well, if I use my direct selection tool here, you can now see that I have anchor points that I can play with. So with these anchor points here, I can move bits of this around like so. If you wanted to do something like that, change the curve on this E and make it a little bit more like this. Change the curve here. Of course, this will take some finagling. You'll have to move things around a little bit, but if you wanted your E to look more, have it like flat there instead of like this, you could do that. Okay, let me make sure I didn't go too far back. Yeah. All right. So those are your options here. You can also go through and play with these individually. So right now they are all grouped together, but I can ungroup them. So now each individual text is its own individual thing. I mean, its own individual shape here. So I'm going to group those all together again, just so that I can center those on my artboard. So center and center. There we go. We're going to have that right in the middle there. And then what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to have that pulled up a little bit, I think. Right about there. Instead of being exactly centered, The reason being, if you look back at our example here, it's centered, but also not quite so. Like you've got the bottoms of it here not quite centered. So yeah, let's have it pulled up just a little bit. So now that this is where I want it to be, I'm going to ungroup it again. And then I'm going to select the top of this L here with my direct selection tool, and then just holding down the shift key with those two anchor points, I'm going to go ahead and pull that all the way up to the top here. Like so. So it's like I elevated the L. I'm sorry, I know that was bad. Okay, so I can regroup all of those together again. And after that, we're going to go ahead and start working on adding more of those here. So there are shortcuts for being able to do that. If I select this here, if I click Command or Control C, that's going to copy it. And normally you would press for paste Command or Control V, but Illustrator has this great little tool that is paste behind or paste in front. So we're actually going to click Command B, and that's going to give us something to paste in front or behind it. So I'm actually going to go ahead, change the color of what's behind it real quick so that you can see what I'm talking about. If I start to pull this down here, I have created a copy. I pasted it behind the original copy, and it's, you can kind of see, maybe I'll make that darker real quick so that you can really see. Yeah, there we go. You can see that it's behind my original text, and that's where it's started. And this is super helpful when you're wanting to create something and then create some layers to it. So I can go ahead and pull that down just one, copy that, Command or Control B, paste behind again, make the color a little bit darker, and go down another 10. So I'm just, to scooch it down, I'm holding down the Shift key and pressing the down arrow. By holding down the Shift key, you're going to be moving it by 10 points instead of just 1 point. So you can see the difference here. This is without pressing Shift, that's a nudge in one direction. When you press Shift, that's 10 points. Okay. I'm just going to keep repeating that process. And there we go. So those are all the copies I've gotten, my entire kind of, you know, all of the copies of the colors there, a nice little ombre going on. I kind of like it, but at the same time, let's be real, it's a little bit difficult to see this top layer here. I mean, it looks cool for sure. It's got a nice, you know, gradient to it, but like I said, it's a little difficult to see. So we're going to play with this top layer here, and we're going to give it a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of an outline, sort of. Okay, let me show you what I mean by that. If you come up to Window, you can click on the Appearance window. And we're going to start by getting rid of both the fill and the stroke on our top layer here. So that means that it looks like it's gone, but if I click here again and I keep it selected, it's technically there. It's just incredibly invisible. There's no fill, there's no stroke, and there's a reason for that here. So we're going to start by, in our Appearance panel here, adding a new fill. When you add a new fill, it automatically adds a new stroke as well. So this fill here, we're going to make it that color in the lightest white color here. Our stroke, we're going to make our dark blue here. So that now looks like it's a nice outline. I'm going to go ahead and make that bigger. Why do this in the Appearance panel instead of the way you would normally do it, which is with the fill and the stroke kind of over here, or in the color panel, or literally anywhere else? There is a reason, and I'll tell you why. You can now order these fill and strokes here. So I can make this stroke really ridiculously big. Let me show you how that, so that you can actually see what I'm trying to talk about here. And you know what? I'm actually going to go ahead and make it pink so that you can really tell what I'm talking about. Okay. The stroke is ridiculously big here, and I'm losing my fill color here, right? I'm kind of sacrificing the outline here. But if I click it and I move it up, that has your layering options that makes it to where your stroke is still very nice and thick, but you don't lose any of your fill there. And that's what happens when you work over here by changing this, or in the stroke panel or the color panel or anywhere else other than the appearance panel. Why is this option hidden in the appearance panel? I have no idea, but it's hidden there, and once you discover it, it's going to change your world, especially when you're working with text. So let me go back and change this to blue, and I'm going to bring that back down to 5 so it's a little bit less obnoxious here. Again, this is very clean, but I don't get, and you can see the top, you know, text a lot better now, but I don't necessarily get the nice soft gradient that I was really going for here. So what does that mean? Well, I can add effects to my stroke and to my fill and to anything that you put over here in the appearance panel just by clicking add new effect. So I'm going to give it a nice little Gaussian blur. I already have it set to 20 pixels, which is what I actually like, but you can of course see that you can bring the slider down, you can click this up and down too. I like it at 20 just because it gives it almost like a drop shadow effect without it being very harsh, and it gives it a nice little color too. So we're going to click OK there. If you change your mind and you don't like it, this is another beautiful aspect of the appearance panel. You can actually go back in and click Gaussian blur and change it. Isn't that wonderful? So I'm going to close that up because, you know, you can just twirl that down and see what you have going on here. For both of those, you can add effects that way. And like I said, that's why I love the appearance panel. One more thing for this, I would like to give it an actual drop shadow. So on our bottom-most layer here, the darkest color for Elevate, I am just going to come straight up to Effect, and because it knows that I was recently applying a Gaussian blur to another object in my artwork, it's going to say, hey, do you want to do the exact same thing to this? I actually don't. I don't want to do the Gaussian blur. I want to come over to Stylize, and I want to click on Drop Shadow. There we go. So let's play with this a little bit. I want it to be completely below it. So let's bring this back to center. There. And we're going to bring that up maybe like 15. The color is going to be, I'm going to make it a little bit lighter because we're going to make it like this nice gray here. Click OK. And you can see that we have it on multiply, which is where if it was on normal, then it was actually going to be a weird looking gray. But if I put it on multiply here, it gives it a nice actual shadow here. So let me see if I kick that blur up a little bit. I might keep it at 6 points there. Click OK, and done so. So that is it. That's basically it. Not too bad once you actually get into it. It's a little bit confusing at first. I'll give that to you, of course, because it took me, I don't even want to say how long to figure out that the appearance panel existed and how useful it was. But once you've got it, like I said, it's going to be second nature. You're going to use it all the time. It's going to be super helpful for everything that you do. So thank you once again for joining me today for Graphic Design for Beginners, and we will see you next time.